What's poppin', good people? So we are about to watch the sprint shootout, which has no bearing whatsoever pretty much on any other of the teams that probably would be more competitive in a sprint shootout had they been given the opportunity for them just to be competitive. What we're about to watch is likely a double dipping of top teams get more points to get more points on Sunday, to have more points in the drivers championship or the constructors championship, and just go into a double dipping points weekend. That's what's wrong with the sprint. Aside from, I'm not opposed to the format of the sprint as they run it. SQ1, SQ2, SQ3, cool. I just think that the overall sprint should be reserved for, I don't want to say underperforming teams or drivers, but teams or drivers that are not as successful or maybe don't have the opportunity because of development, because of maybe the team, maybe engineers, whatever the case is. I just think that it would be a better format. I think we would get a better competitive session if the teams and drivers that were included in the sprint were the bottom 10. All right. So the 10 drivers that got eliminated yesterday would go into the sprint shootout to try and get some points there. Whether they're going to make it drivers points, I would say give drivers a payout and give the constructors the points. That's what I would probably say. But then the top 10 teams that settled out for the actual qualifying, they don't even race. They don't even race in the sprint shootout. They're already set for the top 10 grid places on Sunday. They don't race. These 10 teams have the ability to go into this sprint shootout, duke it out, get you some points, because likely we know Haas is not going to be in points coming up here. Williams is favorable in points because of Albon. And I'm going to show you the board right now. We got 12 minutes for a sprint shootout SQ1, so that is still there. We are 2.2 kilometers due north, so the wind is still the same direction, but a lot less wind today than we had yesterday. 46 degrees is track temp, 25 degrees is air temp, and that's about the same, but we do have a downtick in humidity, which means hopefully we should get no rain. But if we start seeing that humidity peak as we go through the SQ sections, if it hits 50, then we're going to have to start being concerned. It is partly cloudy in that area. So we'll see if today will bear with us. Aside from what happened yesterday, we went into the qualifier, Q3 came, and it quickly turned from day to night. The clouds were thick, they were dark, they were heavy, and they dropped rain on the complete circuit. So Max ended up getting quality position due to that situation. Not to say that he may not have gotten it anyway, but we have seen Red Bull fall apart when it comes to tight windows in order for them to work their setups in there. ATAs, they failed. I don't think they have any ATAs where they were on pole. Carlos and Lewis got those. And then usually sprint weekends, they have a bit more of a challenging time to do that. So Red Bull overall have shown or proven that they don't necessarily outperform teams when getting cars dialed in smaller windows, but the RB19 being as powerful as it is allows them to make those mistakes and have those deficiencies, and makes up for it in race pace, truly, especially by way of Max Verstappen. So we're going to see what team comes out on top here. We also do know Ferrari are known to be qualifying kings, but don't necessarily turn those pole positions into podiums. No pun intended. Cop one of your pole in the podium shirts down below. Did offer an Army color, military color for, Veterans Day that is coming up. So that is available right now. So you can cop one of those. But yeah, we're going to see what's going to happen today. And I think this is a time where we likely see, so they're going to do what they can do. So we'll definitely be looking out for that. But I would like to see other teams that aren't necessarily doing well really, really try to do well, because they know in the race they're not likely to get these points. They know that they're not likely to be able to put themselves in positions to get points on a normal basis. So these weekends are where they could get points. And that's why I say, had they structured the point system or the participation eligibility, we probably would see a better product. We probably would see better challenging. We probably would see better competition, but we're going to see what happens. Here's SQ1 rolling right toward us. Ferrari is out. So we're going to see what Ferrari's going to do. Paul, what's going on? My brother Paul from another mother says, what's up, fam? Sprint Shootout. Let's go. Lewis Hamilton. Peace and love. Peace and love to you, Paul. Big shout out to you. Big time supporter, big time family member, heavily involved. Definitely know that, you know, Paul's going to probably likely take place in that competition we got coming up at the end of the season. Towards the end of the season, it will be before next season, but it's going to be fun. Or maybe we push it into, it's going to happen regardless. I'm still talking to DZP on how we're going to set things up because they do that a lot. So they're going to assist with the setup and the format of the race season coming up. And I really do appreciate Delta Zero Productions. If you are into racing on a consistent basis, by, you know, set rules, because we race Wild Wild West over here. Go see Delta Zero Productions. Give them a shout out. Also give them a follow on their YouTube page. They do have a YouTube page where they do broadcast their race events as well. So big shout out Delta Zero Productions. So right now, drivers in risk of not making it if they continue on, and right now they haven't even started on, but just to give you awareness, if you haven't been here before, or maybe this is your first time watching a sprint race with us, welcome. Next, that red area that you see on the screen where Sonoto, Rick, Valtteri, and the McLaren team are, if they do not come out of that red area, they will be dropped off like somebody off the side of a cliff, and they will no longer continue on into SQ2. Also, keep in mind, when we go into SQ2, we will lose time. Every time we go into a different sector of qualifying for the sprint shootout, we will lose time. They will have less time to do what they need to do. So we're looking for these teams to try to do something. So this is the area I'm talking about right here, this red area. Anybody up here is good. Anybody in gray is good until we get to SQ2. Then this entire side of the field will be red. And anybody here did not make it into SQ3. And the SQ3 is where we will find out where our final 10 are. Don't forget, points stop at 8, not 10 this time. Points stop at 8. So the last point issued for the sprint race will be at 8 coming up later today. So this is the sprint shootout, which will qualify them for position in the sprint race. And in the sprint race, whoever qualifies in 8 collects that last point, and it is a wrap from there. So just a little rundown in case you haven't been watching, in case you're just now coming back into Formula One because you were tired of all the scandals and the debacles and the cheating and the lack of integrity. All that is still in place, but maybe you took a little breath and you came back and said, you know what, I'm going to try to watch Formula One again with Wolfpack, because he keeps the shit real. His family keeps shit real, and that's what I like. Sylvia Witt Kelly says, I have a question. We know on the pit lane, new rules for this weekend is you need to stay to the left. Max took over the Alpine, but he crossed the white line, which according to the rules is not allowed. Sylvia Witt Kelly, I actually was going to address that, and this is why I love my fam, because they're on top of their shit as well. If you could, because there's also another incident that I want to address as well. Yes, if he did that, it is against the rules, and he should be penalized, just like anybody who comes down that main straight and crosses over that white line. The white line is solid for a reason. That line in regular DOT standard is called the gorge, I believe. And if you cross that line getting on or off the highway, you technically are crossing a solid line that should not be crossed unless it's perforated or segments. If you do that, that's a ticket. If you do that in Formula One, it's supposed to be a penalty. Okay, it's not like track limits. That line is there for other reasons and safety reasons. So yeah, he should be penalized, but that, you know, did he get penalized? Did they even take aware of that? I don't know. Blue Diva likely is good about those documents. I will be looking at some of those documents, so we're going to check that out. So definitely there's another incident. If you could DM me that, Sylvia Witt Kelly, DM me that and give me like a timestamp to go back and check that out, and I'll try to add it with the rest of the situations that I want to bring up in a separate video for us all to kind of look at and talk about. So big shout out to Sylvia Witt Kelly bringing up some very important information and something that we all should pay attention to. I think also the drivers as well as us, at least some drivers, are pretty tired of a certain driver not being penalized like the others. And at this point in time, it is pretty egregious. It's something that is definitely loud and it's boisterous, and it's not, it's an elephant in the room. It's a bull in a china shop. And yeah, that's no Red Bull pun. Let's go. Lewis Hamilton, second fastest, 0.074 behind Sainz. Hammer time. And he is right. While I was engaged in a deep conversation with Sylvia Witt Kelly, because it's hard not to be, Hamilton is second on the board at this point in time with 5 minutes and 28 seconds left. We're going to see, can Mercedes put themselves in a position to go into a sprint race several hours from right now and actually capitalize some points? Don't forget, Lewis Hamilton, I think, is only 20 points behind Perez in the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton has set a goal to try to capture that second place in the championship. If he can collect points here and Perez does not collect points, that'll put him in a better situation. And then going into the actual race Sunday, if he collects more points, and let's just say Perez does what he's been known to do, just keeping it real, not finish a race, make a detrimental error to his own race, not finishing, DNF, whatever the case may be, that will bring Lewis Hamilton close, if not have him supersede. Of course, he would have to get first place, but if in the sprint weekend, if he collected, like, let's say 2 points at the least, 2 points in the sprint, then he collected, let's say, fourth place, at that point in time, he'd be right there. He'd be in the game. Okay, so this could very well be the case that he closes that gap. He has the opportunity to close that gap, but it doesn't mean he also is relying on the other driver in Perez to see what he's going to do. So if we get points, just kind of, if they finish within certain spots of each other and just keeps going, that gap closes to it doesn't close fast enough. We only have 3 more races left. So honestly, Lewis Hamilton would need to collect points. Perez would need to not collect points for at least a couple of events and/or this sprint race in this weekend. And then we likely could possibly see Lewis Hamilton capture Drivers' Championship, at least second in the Drivers' Championship. So that is very true. Looking for that. Right now, Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, and Verstappen, 1, 2, 3. A Ferrari-powered vehicle, Mercedes, and a Honda-powered vehicle. 3 different power units in the top 3. But in the top 5, we do have Haas with K-Mag, which has definitely been underperforming somewhat, seems like. We'll see if Haas typically around the first round, they'll be here. As we start floating into the later rounds of this shootout session, you'll see that Haas will start falling back, as they typically do fall back. They give us a little surprise, give us a little peekaboo, and then we see them kind of fall off. I do not think that the updates they brought to Texas have done anything really great for them. We'll see what happens when they go into the offseason before they come into the new season and see where they are then. I'm not expecting a lot for Haas. Haas hasn't really done a lot since they've been in Formula One, so don't expect much for them at all. Danny Rick in 9th in the top 10, while Yuki Tsunoda sits at 19. Danny Rick having showed us a quite bit of pace since the last event, which was pretty nice, but we want to see, is this something that will become consistent, or is it something that was just a one-off just due to track situations, conditions, and, you know, maybe him just really feeling the Mexican GP. Maybe he just really felt it. He kind of bonds with that track and he did well. I'm honestly curious to see what he's going to do. Now, if Danny Rick can nail like a pretty good qualifying spot for the sprint shootout, then that will help his case. And then if he goes into the GP coming tomorrow and finishes, I need him to finish top 8. He finishes in the top 8. That's also going to help his case. And then at that point, I'm going to start kind of leaning more toward Danny Rick might be showing us something. A lot of people thinking that this AlphaTauri is just an undercover Red Bull, which is not far-fetched. We already know they're going to get several RB19 parts in the offseason to update their car. So we're likely looking at an 18.5 Red Bull or something like that. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah. So right now, still, Lewis Hamilton is still in second spot. Max screwing up Perez's lap is kind of normal at Red Bull, right? Yes, it is. Max has had several times that he's impeded drivers, yet what happens? You know, I'm still trying to figure it out myself what happens. Still trying to look for it. Like, have you seen it? Have you seen a penalty anywhere? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to kind of look at some situations. Hopefully, if I can gather them up. I've been working pretty late on my new digital cluster that I'm trying to get together for the build. And so, you know, I had to run around town finding a cluster first, which is hard to find a cluster for. An Integra these days, a Honda Integra, which is difficult. Then when you find one, you need to find one that's at least in decent condition. And then from decent condition, I have to modify it and I have to, you know, 3D print. It's a bunch of stuff that goes on just in that one area of the car. It's crazy. So North Lando popping, and we do have a yellow flag. We got a yellow flag. We got double yellow in track sector 3. But before then, Lando popped to the top. Now we are in a red flag situation. And if it is a red flag situation, then we already know some shit's going down. So the track is clear. Lando, now Sainz at the top right there. So we're going to see what's happening right there. We are in red flag situation. Red flag situation is on track. It said the track was clear, but it says we are still. Oh my gosh, the Alpine has smashed the wall. The Alpine has smashed the wall. And that Alpine that has smashed the wall likely may be Ocon, since his is 0 kilometers an hour. His car is off at this point in time. Ocon, Esteban, Bestie is done. We also have an Aston Martin dragging ass back to the track. And I want to say that is Alonso in the sparking up Aston Martin, the mechanic. Shout out to the entire Wolfpack fam. Shout out to you, brother, man. Appreciate you. Yes, so we got an Aston Martin that's dragging ass back to the pits. We have an Alpine that is collecting so much money that hopefully they can pay for these repairs within the cost cap. We have an Alpine that is going to be out, and that is Ocon. So Ocon has just gifted somebody. Okay, Ocon has just gifted somebody an opportunity to go into SQ3 free of charge. All right, he's going to fill up one of these spots because he's not going to be able to continue on. So he's going to fill up one of these spots. And it would be an indictment if somebody doesn't get a better time than somebody who hasn't had enough time in this session. We got 33 seconds. It's red flag, which means it's going to prolong us. But where the car is, they should be able to get the car off pretty good. Now it's just going to be about repairing those barriers, how fast they can do that. It does look like is that Tech Pro or is that tire? Is that a tire? I can't really tell if that's Tech Pro or tires because I think that's a tire barrier. Honestly, I think it's a tire barrier with the net over it. So that shouldn't be very difficult to fix. Get that back in place, get the debris off, and get this car off track, and we should be good. But Ocon's going to be out of there. Yuki Tsunoda just got a gift from Ocon, especially if he stays toward the back. He will be able to continue into SQ2, while Danny Rick is completely safe being in the top 10. Paul says Alonso with the left front flat. Yes. Sylvia Witt Kelly says just sent the vid and thank you very much, Sylvia Witt Kelly. Shit. Sylvia Witt Kelly is shit hot. In the military, we say when somebody's very good, we call them shit hot. Sylvia Witt Kelly is that. She is shit hot. So big shout out, Sylvia Witt Kelly. Thank you very much. Also, there is another Sylvia Witt Kelly. I probably will send you something else. You are Blue Diva. There is another piece of footage that I'm looking for to try to find out what race event it was. So if you don't mind, I may send you that video screenshot as well if I need to, and then see what you got. But yeah, oh my gosh, Alonso, that shit's locked up. But fortunately, he'll be able to get it back. Now, the problem is, will they be able to get it fixed before the session continues on? If not, if nobody can beat his time, then he has less time and he'll end up done right there. He'll end up having to go ahead and gifts. Then somebody else will get another gift because that'll be 2 cars that won't continue. So 3 cars will only be eliminated that are still active, while 2 cars that are DNF will not be. So we'll see what happens with that and see what carries on from there. I'm wondering if Logan or if Albon might have been. No, they're just getting out of the car. So Williams is in a pretty decent spot to try and also gift somebody else in there, because they're both, Williams as a team is catfishing. They're at the bottom. And that is not likely what I would expect to see from Albon. Now, I do wonder if Williams say to themselves, like, the sprint is not really worth it for us. Maybe they're just like, we're going to kick back, reserve the car, save the car. We already know Logan can wreck a car. Let's just go ahead and minimize any type of this situation that could occur and just go out, because likely Albon has been known to finish in the top 10, but the top 8 are the only ones that are going to get points. So I wonder if Williams might look at that and say, listen, you're probably not going to finish top 8. And if you do, how hard are you going to have to really push in a sprint when we have the sprint race coming up, and just kind of weigh those options out, like where they want to sit. So it wouldn't be uncommon for a team to do that, but we'll see what they actually end up doing. They are hoisting that Alpine in the air, getting that off track right now. Aston Martin is working very diligently and hard in the garage, working to get that car repaired before the time for the session comes where they're going to have to get back out there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do on that. So let's see how long it's going to take us. But anytime these red flags happen, it just prolongs our sessions. I would like to see a complete rundown, a complete play-by-play, which I'll go back and watch it myself. But I would like to see a complete play-by-play on what exactly took place there, and if if Alonso and Esteban had some type of mingling on track that resulted in that situation, because I missed it completely on screen. Perez is sitting in 10, but he won't get any points. So like I said, if Perez sits in 10 and doesn't get any points, going into the sprint later on, right? This is just qualifying, but if he's sitting at 10, that's not going to put him in a very good spot for qualifying, although he'll have that race pace. But we've seen what Perez can do trying to work his way through a grid, and it's not exactly the best thing that's smoking. So if he can't even finish top 8 and Lewis Hamilton finishes in the top 3, even top 4, he's going to collect points, and that's going to also help him for his campaign on that. Paul says, Galacticus first says, so will the FIA measure the plank on Alonso's car? They should. They should measure that plank, especially if that was the plank that was causing the fireworks. Yeah, they should definitely measure that. That's a because we are still in the sprint, just like in Texas. So yeah, they should definitely measure that. That's a very good question, Galactus. Playing the Alonso, which has the dynamic camera on, trying to see what happened with Alonso here. Trying to see if Esteban is anywhere around. Yeah, Esteban clipped Alonso hard. Right there. Definitely clipped him hard. So that was the reason for the damage on Alonso's car, and Esteban into the wall after clipping Alonso. Now that could have been a lot worse than it was. So fortunately it wasn't. So, but yeah, I think that's Esteban. I don't know if Alonso was on the line in the way. I think Esteban kind of pushed over a bit too much there. Paul says, make the sprint races reverse grid from championship point standing. I like that too. I do like that. And while the other commentators were like, oh, it's gimmicky. I mean, shit, there's some things in Formula One that are gimmicky, but I do like that. And then Paul goes on to say, only use the sprint for the qualifying position for the GP with no points. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. That's pretty cool. Because right now with the way they did it, they split the sprint from even affecting Sunday. So it's almost to the point where it's like, it's just compartmentalized here. We care, we don't care. Who cares? There's nothing really coming out of it's going to affect us on Sunday. That's already done. So I do think that if you were going to make it more meaningful, then the sprint should decide the qualifying grid order for Sunday. I do like the additive of reverse grid. Now, when Paul says that, he's not saying reverse, the way they go direction on track. That's a completely another safety conversation about barriers and escape routes and all the other stuff. What he's saying is, just like in football, the draft order inverses depending on where you finish. So Red Bull would be at the bottom, so they would be in 20th, and then they would work their way up, which likely they should because they have. And it would be a bit more competitive. So I'm in full agreement with even that suggestion, Paul. I think that is a very good suggestion. I'm in full agreement with that. I think it's along the lines of the direction I'm going in. And I think you're right. I think that's something that they should consider doing. So, yeah, good suggestion right there. Right now, still 33 seconds on the clock, still in red flag conditions. All cars right now are zeroed out, and I don't think anybody has any. Oh, well, I was wrong. Pia has his RPMs up. Gasly has RPMs up, so their cars are running in Lando. So both McLaren cars are right now running, and Gasly's car is running, and he's going to be the only car running in his garage going forward because Ocon is out of there, the other driver for Alpine. So we'll see how all of that is going to continue. But yeah, I do like that suggestion, Paul. That is a good one. So FIA will involve incident. They will investigate the incident of car 63 48131 will be investigated after the session. Failing to follow race director's instructions, maximum delta time. So that's a big thing that's also been happening. The delta time around the circuit, trying to alleviate some of the traffic situations of cars impeding, much like Russell and Max were doing just solely in pit lane, which was crazy. Turn 3 incident involving cars 31 and 14 will be investigated after the situation too, and that is with Esteban and that is with Alonso. So they're going to also look into that. I don't know. Now looking kind of at Alonso's onboard cam, maybe he may not have been over enough, but I need to see it from a front angle view when Esteban was coming up just behind. Okay, and here we get Esteban's view, trying to look and see where it is. Alonso definitely wasn't on an outlap. So Esteban may have dropped it there. He may have dropped it there. He may have hit a bit of the grass just as he was maybe used too much of that curb right there. And the car loses it right there. He loses it before he even gets to Alonso. He's already trying to gather the car up, and he was unable to gather it up, and he ended up almost gathering Alonso up in that. So I do think that if they do make a decision, that should completely be on Ocon at that point in time. So we'll see what the stewards come up with later. And if we are on later, then we'll discuss that just temporarily. I think that should be a pretty cut and dry case. I think that's Alonso right there. So we'll see what happens. But remember, if you're not Max Verstappen, then likely you're at risk of getting a penalty. That's just something that seems to be a running thing right now. So we'll see what happens there. Also, I'm going to show you nothing, 33 seconds still on the clock. They're still getting things together. And hopefully we can get SQ1 on. It's only 33 seconds left. I would like to see if they're going to let cars go out with 33 seconds, or are they going to end up just going into SQ2, reset the clock? I think we go to 10 minutes. Give us 10 minutes, SQ2, 33 seconds of SQ1 is gone, and the cars that you see right there would be eliminated. So that means Alonso's out, Ocon's out. Well, I don't know if Alonso's out yet because they actually might get his car repaired. So at this point in time, Ocon, Stroll, Zhou, Albon, and Logan Sargent would be out. So with 33 seconds, could they get out there and get on an outlap? I mean, not completely getting those tires warmed up and just trying to go for something so they can get out of trouble, maybe. But if they're not, they're done. So, Williams might as well just hang it up, go to the trailer, and just wait on later on for the day and try to do what they can do there. So we'll see what happens and what teams decide to do. Nice little gap between Leclerc and Sainz at this point in time. But they will be able to improve as they are going to be able to. They're in the top 10, so they're moving on to SQ2. Valtteri, kind of a bit back, but I mean, Alfa Romeo's been, what they have been. So not surprised in Stroll, though. Not surprised at all in Stroll. Even with Alonso having a mechanical situation, an incident, Stroll still in the drop-off area is just something that has been common this entire season. He's very fortunate that his dad loves him. I'll say that. He's very fortunate that his dad loves him. Hey. Parent love, what are you going to do? You're going to love your kids, and when they're right or they're wrong, when they suck or they're good, but the rest of the world shouldn't have to suffer because of that. Aston Martin shouldn't have to suffer because Lance Stroll is not as an elite driver as other drivers as his teammate. He's not even as elite as his teammate in his long-haired tooth years of being a Formula One driver. Lance is just not really doing what he should be doing in that car. I mean, the AMR 23 was a fierce competitor towards the beginning of the season. I don't want to say a beast. That might be giving him too much, but it definitely was a fierce competitor in the early part of the season. Alonso 7 podiums, Lance Stroll no podiums, and here we are still consistently going. Lance Stroll throws a steering wheel, gets mad at his trainer, and just throws a hissy fit, and here we are still, Lance Stroll not really doing much of shit. So I really think they need to address that. I think there needs to be a conversation. I've been saying it. I'm going to keep saying it until they have one, if they're going to have one. But if Lawrence lets this go on to the end of his days of even not being with Aston Martin, I think he's going to look back and probably kick himself in the ass and said, you know what could have been had I made the tough decision and just acknowledged and had that conversation with my son that, listen, you're not the best thing for the team. I've given you your opportunities on top of your opportunities, and even in sight of your lack of performance, I believed in you. It's not that I don't believe in you, but we just got to be honest with each other right now for the team. I am the owner of a team. I owe other personnel in the organization the respect and as much as I can do to bring Aston Martin a championship, and that's not having you in that seat because you haven't proved so. So we need to give somebody else an opportunity. Doesn't mean you're off the team. Doesn't mean that I'm firing you. It just means right now you're going to have to take a back step and see what we can come up with. And if we can't come up with anything, of course, I will love for you to fill that seat until we come up with a viable replacement, or maybe you start performing better. But there's a conversation that needs to take place with Lance Stroll that's just not happening because of nepotism. And it's really, I think about this. Think if Aston Martin, Alonso had 7 podiums and Lance Stroll had 5. That would be a pretty good season for Aston Martin. You know what I'm saying? That would be a pretty good season for Aston Martin. Like 12 podiums combined between the drivers, like that's pretty good. That would look good, especially constructor championship points. But Alonso is unable to hold this ship together on his own, and it shows. They've declined even with him collecting his most recent podium, making it 7 for the season. Lance Stroll is zeroed out. He's not a hero right now, not at all. As much as people want to praise him for getting back in the car and being injured and pushing forward, that lightweight really was a situation that endangered other drivers because he couldn't even drive his car to full capacity or to his ability. He had to take his hands off the steering wheel, make several adjustments while in the car, use funny hand positioning, like all of that. Technically is a situation that could cause another situation that could involve another driver or team, damage our life and even his. So I'm not calling no hero for that. Well done pushing through, but sometimes pushing through in these situations is not the best thing to do. So, but he did it. Nothing happened. Fortunately, the only thing that's really taking place is he sucks. I don't want to say he sucks. He's not good. He's not been good. He's not been good. I'll say that. Paul says Salty Dog needs to watch his mirrors more. He was cutting right into Ocon's line. Dangerous, should be a penalty. Going to look at that. We definitely will see that if he dropped into Ocon's line. And I don't know how Alonso didn't see him. Checked any part crossing white line in a breach since you docked. Big shout out, Sylvia Witt Kelly. Big shout out for you on that. So yeah, I was pretty sure on that. So I don't, it's just, we'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about it. I think I might do a Wolves Den today as well. I'm going to see. I said I was going to do this live, maybe not do a Wolves Den. I'm going to consider it. Like I said, I really have not slept much trying to do everything on the build and do everything else. So we're going to see what's going on, but that's definitely something we're going to talk about. Maybe we talk about it for F1 Minute live Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you take part in the content creation and we have a ball with the topics. It's a free-for-all. So right now, it looks like we may be getting ready to get back on in a few minutes. I think they got the car off. I believe they're working on the barriers now, pushing everything back into place, cleaning up the debris. We should be on. This clock should start running, or this clock should zero out and go into SQ2, and we should see 12 minutes. Logan Sargent right now is doing an interview as far as maybe Williams, I guess, because if they do decide not to finish up SQ1, then Williams is done. They're getting dropped off. So that could be very well why Williams is not in the car. Maybe they already know they're not going to continue on with the. Yep, started. There it is right there. I missed that note completely. If you see it right there, start of SQ2 will be delayed. So yeah, that's what's going to happen right there. So we're going to go right into SQ2. SQ1 is going to be done. I think we're going to go right into SQ2. That 33 seconds is going to end up coming off that clock getting zeroed out. But if it's not, I would be very interested to see what happens. Mary Beanie says, thanks, bestie, for your support. Got migraine migraine salty. Yeah, Mary Beanie calls Alonso salty balls. So, he is salty. Alonso was salty. He's very salty of Lewis Hamilton's success, his career, everything that he achieved, the business he gave him as a rookie. Yeah, Alonso's salty. Whether he's a better person now, I don't know. Whether Aston Martin made him a better person by giving him the most competitive car he's had in the last 15 years, 15 seasons, maybe. A lot of things can make somebody turn a leaf, or at least temporarily turn a leaf. And Alonso was giving a lot of brotherly love to Lance. I haven't heard a lot of that brotherly love lately from Alonso, or a lot of that verbal support about Lance. I think at some point in time that ran out, and Alonso was like, yo, this dude is really not that good. Like, I want this job. I want this seat. I'm willing to say some glowing things about your son, but how much can I keep saying when he keeps doing the things that he's doing? So I think at some point in time, Alonso was like, it's just probably better for me to say nothing than say something at this point in time. So we'll see what comes of that. We'll see what comes of that. I know a lot of people were talking about the rumors going around about Alonso possibly being a Red Bull. I'm going to tell you something right now. That's not what Max wants. Max would not like Alonso at Red Bull, because Alonso is going to tell it like it is, and he's going to give him the fucking business. This is funny. Brazil has delayed us several times right now in qualifying sessions. This is what we're getting from Brazil right now. Fans are excited, though. It's good to see fans excited. And we all know Lewis is a citizen of Brazil, especially after several things. And even after that horrible Nelson Piquet crap, the homophobic and racial slurs he was using to describe Lewis Hamilton while critiquing his driving was crazy to me. Like, Piquet, come on, bro, for real, stop it. Stop it. The most relevant you are is when you're relevant talking about somebody that's relevant. Alonso does the same thing sometimes. He'll bring up Lewis Hamilton when he needs to get a relevant shot in his veins. So Albon now doing an interview, talking right now. So we're still waiting for this clock to clean up. As you see right there, no time going off the board. Excuse me. What did y'all eat today? I would like to know that, because I haven't eaten yet. So I would like to know, what did y'all eat for breakfast? I'm going to put some options up here, see what y'all ate. I like to kind of stalk people's meals for the day, see what you have, maybe give me some ideas of what I may eat when I get off of this stream. So maybe let's talk about, let's see, muffins / donuts, not donuts, nuts, or eggs and bacon. And I'll even say sausage there. And another one, maybe some people just do a smoothie, right? All right, so poll in the chat. Feel free to vote on it and dance on it. I want to know what you all have for breakfast. The mechanic coming in says Nelson Piquet, a 3-time champion, and I don't see his posters even in his home country. That should tell you something. Spitting bars. The mechanic up here dropping some knowledge gems. Think about that. Nelson Piquet is not regarded even a fraction of what Lewis Hamilton is regarded as in Brazil. Think about that. The people are speaking and telling you who they really regard as their hometown heroes, and it ain't him. And I honestly think he was jealous of Senna. I think Nelson Piquet was jealous of Senna, and he's damn sure jealous of Lewis Hamilton. He doesn't even get the regard in his hometown, and for a good reason. Like, when majority don't think like you, they're going to be like, that dude is not who we really represent. He's not. You know, he's from here, but we ain't really claiming him like that. So they got crack on the screen, and I don't mean butt crack. Crack right there from Aston Martin, looking onto the screens, hopefully getting ready to get some of these things dialed up as these cars get ready to head back on track. And Paul says, the wife and I went out for breakfast, 3 eggs, shredded hash browns, and wheat toast with butter, and of course a coffee or a coffee or 4. Damn. Paul, you definitely up. A coffee or 4. That's like it is when you get pulled over for a DUI. How many drinks have you had? 1 beer. It's always 1 beer, 1 drink. Yeah, okay. At least Paul said it right. Like, yeah, I probably had 1 or 4. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm likely to believe the 4. You definitely got. So I wonder, Paul, how do you drink your coffee, bro? Do you straight black? Because I know when I drink coffee, I drink it straight black, no creamer, no sugar. I just like the real bold character of a good coffee and a nice pastry or a donut or an apple fritter to go with it. How do you drink your coffee? Is it black? Are you black with sugar? Are you using some type of sweetener and creamer? What are you doing with your coffee, Paul? Coffee is a big thing. If coffee wasn't a big thing, we wouldn't see companies like certain ones that we know that are stars just popping up to just outlandish revenue. Coffee is an exquisite and very personal and creative thing these days. What you can do with coffee, how you can serve coffee, what you have coffee with. You can use coffee and cook. It's just crazy the amount of things that coffee has found its way in these days and times. So yeah, SQ2 will start at 11:40. I hope that's somebody else's time, because this damn 10:36 my time, 10:36 a.m. to be exact. So I'm hoping that 11:40 is shit. I'm hoping 11:40 is Central Time. Hell, no, not even Central Time. That's going back. I need it to be in like 15 minutes. Whatever time zone that they're reporting this on, we got to do something better than that. DRS is enabled 10:36. So hopefully that's 10:40 my time, 4 minutes from now. Track is clear. We do have an indication that track is clear. So we have a track clear indication. So evidently that's going to be 6 minutes. Paul says cream and sugar. I drink minimum of 4 extra long coffees a day. No lie. Damn, Paul getting it in. I know you probably order some special coffee. Do you have the Wolfpack Performance coffee mug? Do you have that? I would like to know if you have the Wolfpack Performance coffee mug. Are you drinking your coffee in performance? But creamer and sugar, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, some people drink so much creamer in their coffee, it's like having a little coffee with milk. It's pretty much like a milkshake. Like there's little coffee in there. You probably put 1 ounce of coffee and then a cup of creamer. Galactica says Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, hash browns. Hey, the Chick-fil-A combo can't go wrong. I, for one, like the Chick-fil-A burrito, breakfast burrito with the hash browns and some water. Yeah, I'm go for that. I'm definitely go for some Chick-fil-A food. Also, I like the way they treat their employees. They're not open on Sundays, which is so damn cool. Give their employees off. Yep, and there we go. So as you see it right there on the board, the drop-off zone has turned. Williams is out of there. Joe is out of there. Stroll, hey, he's out of there. Ocon is out of there. So Ocon gifted Yuki, or Yuki would be out of there if he did not get a better time. So Yuki can say thank you. He is out of there. Alonso, we're going to see if he comes out of the pits. Hopefully they got that car repaired and he will be able to continue on, which he's been pretty much moving on and doing things on his own. Stroll has not been any help. And we're going to see if Pia can get out of 14 and actually get into the top 10, so he's not eliminated in SQ2. Right now, you do see we got 10 minutes on the clock for these drivers to prove themselves. The wind has kicked up quite a bit, 12.6 kilometers due northeast now. Track temp has also ticked up 50.3 degrees. Air temp 25.4, and we do have a decrease in that, but an increase in winds. And also humidity has dropped just a smidge, so we might have less to worry about when it comes to rain. So let's get this on before it does change its mind, and then we end up getting some things that we really didn't want anyway. So yeah. So it looks like we're getting ready to kick this off. 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and get these cars on track. Cars are cranking up as you see RPMs and kilometers as they heading out into the pit. So yes, we are on. And that was 6 minutes from my time, which I'm very happy about that. I'm almost sleep deprived, honestly. I'm almost delirious sleep deprived, for real. I literally am. It's not even a joke right now. It is. I'm like, have you ever seen the cartoon Tom and Jerry? You know, Jerry tries to stay up, Tom tries to stay up because he's a tomcat, put the toothpicks in his eyes to keep him open. That's pretty much where I am right now. You know, I wouldn't do that literally, but metaphorically speaking, yeah, it's getting there. So here we go. I am ready to see who's going to make this. And then the sprint race, let's definitely, I'm going to watch that free and clear my own. I'm going to sit back, cook me up some breakfast and watch that on my own. So it's going to be interesting right there. I believe we're looking at Valtteri, the eyes of Valtteri, mustache, Bottas. Ass cheeks in the wind are in the stream, Bottas. And right there, we got George Russell getting ready. Visor half crack, which I'm looking for a new helmet for the little one for the new season coming up. So that's going to be cool. And yes, indeed, I do have some news to share. Points came out for the racing season. The little one is third in the entire season, made top three. They only will award the top three finishers of each class. And she made third, missed second by 20 points. So I guess if you take the three races that we got DNF'd, could not finish, which the last race, which was the bumper was dragging, so unsafe conditions, were unable to finish that. If she maybe finishes that, we're talking about a different story, but woulda, shoulda, coulda. If it was fifth, we'd all be drunk. I'm very proud and happy of her for her first season ever to finish in the top three. So definitely looking forward to what next season will bring. So we'll see what happens. So things are going, yeah, he's done. I don't think Alonso is going back out on track. I think Alonso is also done. I don't think they're going to end up getting a car repaired in time. I think that was Alonso that I saw walking in the paddock. So we will see. Could have been Stroll, but I think it was Alonso. So we'll see what happens. Right now, Danny Rick, Alonso, temporarily are just till further notice. Gasly, Bottas, and Yuki have an opportunity to prove themselves better than where they sit. Right now, none of those cars, well, one of those cars is RPMs built up, and that's Gasly. But right now, cars on track and active, really going forward. Hamilton right now at the top of the boards. Verstappen and Red Bull, Perez behind him. Perez looks like he's on a pretty nice lap, maybe even on a better lap than actual Max in that. Oh, well, no, never mind. That's wrong. Max just laying down purple segments all throughout this second sector. So he's definitely going to have a better time than Perez unless Perez finds some type of time in sector 3, which I'm not sure about that. Just hundredths of a second off in sector 1. In sector 2, let's see what Perez ends up with, how far he's off of Max in sector 2. And sector 2, 3/10 off. Yeah, he's probably not making that up. Lando Norris to the top, but Lewis Hamilton is trying to put in a lap, and Max Verstappen goes to the top of the boards like we know he can do. Galactica says, congrats, little speed racer. Appreciate you much, brother. Appreciate that. Congratulations on P3. Awesome first season. Proud of both of you. Great job. Peace and love. Thank you so much for the love, fam. That's why I love my Wolfpack family. Always supportive, always encouraging, always good sportsmanlike conduct, always very positive and uplifting, and I don't give a damn about anybody else of them haters. I'm trying to tell you, hey, I got enough positive energy around here to keep me going like an Energizer body in the back of the bunny. So right now, Verstappen and Perez both a 1 and a 2. Lewis Hamilton falls to 3, and that's not a bad position for him to be because I don't think Perez can hold Lewis Hamilton off. Russell joining the top 5 just behind Hamilton. Second driver joining up just behind the lead driver. Lando Norris popping up again. These McLarens. Where is Pia Pia? I need to see Pia Pia pop in the top 5. Pia Pia to the 3 position, top 3. I just called him. I said, Pia Pia, I need to see you. Oh my gosh. What did I tell you? Hulk is showing up. Let me find out Hulk's going to keep showing up going into SQ2 out here. We got 6 minutes left for these drivers to do something. K-Mag with a little jump, not anything really too serious. Lewis Hamilton and Russell fall 7th and 8th. We're waiting for these Ferrari boys to show us what these scarlet red cars can do. They are sitting at the bottom of the 10th spot, which means they're safe going into SQ3. Oh, Leclerc says, I am here to play ball. Pops in that 3rd spot. That 3rd spot is being a rotation. It is a lazy Susan of drivers. It is just coming around, and every time he comes around, there's a different driver, a different power unit, a different team in that spot. Sainz says, Carlos, I want the number 2 spot. Sainz says, I'm not settling for 3rd. I'm not trying to be behind Charles. I'm trying to be the man of Ferrari. Let's go. Mary Beanie says, congrats to the little one. Onwards and upwards. Thank you very much, Mary Beanie. Appreciate you much as always. So listen, we got cars popping in and out. Cars are popping in and popping out. Let's see what they're going to finish up with. Oh my goodness, this is definitely interesting. Again, just a little bit different. The Ferrari inside of a Red Bull sandwich, but they're pretty stacked up. But Charles left on the outside of that sandwich like some butter on the bread. We'll try to see what will Carlos do being in between those. This is another situation. Just, it's Carlos instead of Leclerc. Like, what could happen here into turn 1 would be very interesting to see if Perez is going to try to push again here in Brazil, which, where we are, Helmut Marko has no clue where Perez comes from. So we'll see what happens there. cars are in the garage, trying to do their thing, trying to see what's going to happen as they're getting ready. We got 4 minutes and 38 seconds before we hit SQ3, and then they only have 8 minutes left to do whatever it is they're going to do. Right now, drivers in risk of not making it are right there. It's pretty much, there they are. Rick, Alonso, Gasly, Bottas, and Yuki. Nothing is happening there, and I don't think anything is going to happen. I haven't seen any of those drivers really do anything. So I missed something maybe. Yeah, maybe I missed something. Gasly's out there. His RPMs are at least up anyway. DRS wing is cracked, but I don't know what the hell's going on that side. Maybe there's something going on with the system. Need a t-shirt in her cart, helmet, and gear to buy. Hey, I'm trying to tell you something. Actually, we are coming out with a board. There are a few items that we're going to have to get again. As you know, I'm trying to set her up with a new chassis, so we're going to have to get wheels, new tires, new wets. We're going to have to get her a rain suit. I already took the electronics over, so they're going to install those. There's several things I'm going to have to get. New seats. So I took a small snapshot of the new body work that's going to go on there. So Wolfpack fam fully represented on there with a lot of other things for her and her official racing number 001. So it's going to be very interesting. She's going to end up getting this for Christmas. She doesn't even know yet. She has no clue. She's been so kind of relaxed, and right now she's at karate. So she walked by her race cart, didn't even notice the motors missing, didn't notice like several little things I just kind of leave over there. So she doesn't even know that. But by Christmas time, she's going to be unveiling her new race chassis for the season to come. And then we're going to hit the track, try to get her some seat time in that immediately. So it's going to be very fun. So right now, Danny Rick, Gasly, Bottas, Yuki, Alonso is not. Alonso's going to give somebody into SQ3. As we see right there, he is out. He's not in the car, so they did not get that repaired in time. It is a done deal. Yuki is going. I need Yuki to step up. Danny Rick, I'm looking to see if Danny Rick's going to be if he's going to not make it in there. Paul says you should make a T-shirt for your daughter's racing, and all proceeds go to a racing seat. You know what, Paul, Galacticus, say no more. I'm going to do that. That is a fantastic idea. I am going to do that. I'm going to come up with a shirt, and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to see how I'm going to come up with that. I'm going to see about maybe her bodywork art, whatever the case may be, and her race number. I'm going to do that. That is a very good idea. So, and it will be up on the website, and the money and the proceeds that shirt is purchased will go towards all her new parts and stuff that's going to happen. But I really do salute and appreciate you all for even suggesting that idea. I really do. Thank you very much. Galactus, Paul, appreciate you. I will do that, and hopefully you'll see that up soon. I'm going to have to take some time and get that designed up. Something nice, simple, classy with her number on it and her race name on it, and just go from there. That'd be cool. And then, of course, I'm going to have to get her one of the shirts, and I'm going to have to get myself one of the shirts and put it in there, too, into the pot. So big shout out. Let's also take a look at the trap times, trap speeds. Lando Norris is the fastest across 3 categories: 323, 266, 303 kilometers an hour. Ocon, which is not here anymore, along with his fellow driver Gasly and Alpine, fill the top 2 spots at the speed trap with 335 and 333 kilometers an hour. So Ocon having some speed there, but unable to carry it on so he could show us what he could do with it. Well, he did show us what he could do with it, but it wasn't maybe all his fault, but he's not here anymore. So we'll see what happens in the actual sprint race. I'm pretty sure they'll get that fixed by then. Right now, nothing happening pretty much at the top right now. We got 50 seconds left. It is Ferrari. It is Red Bull. We do not see any more movement right there. Lewis Hamilton and Russell are at the bottom, but they are safe at this point in time unless something shakes. Out of nowhere from Yuki is looking like he's doing a pretty decent lap for himself there. Sylvia Witt Kelly says we could do a Patreon and sponsor her. Big shout out, Sylvia Witt Kelly. I appreciate that. I think we're going to do the shirt idea. I think that's very nice. Thank you, Sylvia Witt Kelly. Some ideas start. See, my family, they be brainstorming. They be coming up with shit. Like, they just come up with great shit right off the cuff. It's not all me. It's the family. The family, I got good fam members right here. Russell and Hamilton, 11 and 12. That's not making it. Yuki Tsunoda to number 6, while Danny Rick is in 13, but Danny Rick is about to finish his lap. He's about to finish his lap. He's got 2 more segments. The checker flag has dropped. Oh, shit! Let me find out. Danny Rick goes to number 2. Oh, my gosh. Danny Rick is in a Red Bull. I am pretty sure of it now. Danny Rick is in a Red Bull car. That is an RB18. That is not an AT. That is not a, no, that is not the AlphaTauri car. Verstappen coming back showing you what I will do to you if you ever come to Red Bull, Danny Rick. You will be number 2, but Perez in the number 1 spot, and I like it for some get back. Get in there. Just, yeah, dig it in. Let's see if Perez can finish out on position, on pole position for the sprint race. Would be awesome to see if he could do that. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell and Lando Norris, Mercedes power cars making moves. Lando Norris in the first spot. Hamilton 5 and 6 where Russell sits. Rick in 4th. Red Bulls coupled together 2 and 3 while Sainz splits Russell and drops up. And Leclerc goes above that to the top 5 position. This is a mix and matching of cars and drivers. And this is what I like this action. What can Pia do? Will Pia make a move? He's in a segment to finish up. Will he have no change? Will he jump up with there to join his McLaren brother? He had a very good first sector, and that right there is done. Oh my goodness, that was exciting. I enjoyed that to the bits. That was nice. Pia is done. He's in the pit anyway. Yuki, congratulations. Making it into SQ3, giving yourself another chance to show what you can do. But Danny Rick, what a surprise. Danny Rick also showing up pretty much where he showed up in Texas. He's in the top 5. I believe it was like 6 or something like that. But Danny Rick in a very good position. And this could get exciting here as these cars are going to dial up a bit more going into SQ3. Let's see what they got. The clock is zeroed out. That is the end of that. Cars will be coming in, making adjustments, getting ready for that clock to reset. I believe we're just going to get 8 minutes for them to prove who's going to be the best of the best and who's going to be the best of the rest. Mary Beanie says, Danny Rick with the dressed up RB18 again. Sir Lewis, I know that's how there's something going on. Something going on over there in that Red Bull garage. Something going on over there in that Red Bull garage. SQ3 will start at 11:57. That is 5 minutes off of my time. 11:52 is the mark, Eastern Standard Time, AM this morning. I am breakfastless, while many of you have had breakfast. And let me go into the live chat right here so I can see. So the major poll, 48% of you had eggs, bacon, and or sausage. 12% of you had a smoothie. And then 40% of you had muffins and or donuts. And you know what? I'm not opposed to having a good muffin or a donut. So I think that's an awesome thing to do, especially, like I said, an apple fritter or a maple and bacon donut or even an Oreo or Reese donut. Oh, yeah, I'm going in on some donuts. I can go to a donut shop right now and tear up a dozen my damn self if I really wanted to. I'm not going to do it, though. I'm going to stick to some other things. I'm going to, get some egg whites, make something like that. So we'll see what happens. But yes, this is gonna be very interesting here. I'm gonna look. Now I do want to say this. The last time this situation took place, it was pretty stagnant. It was, the top 10 in SQ3 didn't have much movement, and it was a boring SQ3. SQ1, SQ2 were entertaining. We got to SQ3, and it just gnawed out. It got very vanilla, got very plain. I hope we don't have the same thing there. I think, to me, that Mercedes might say we want to be in a bit better position for the sprint race in a little bit. So let's try to get at least 4th and 5. But if Danny Rick can have something legitimately to say about that, he'll be trying to break that up as he's looking like he's changing form. And Perez definitely should have something to say about that. I'll be really disappointed to see Perez fall out of the top 5. I would be. It'd be like, what's going on? Ferrari definitely want to get up there, and we know they're fully capable of that because that's what they do. They show up to qualies and qualifying sessions, and they go crazy, and then they show up to the race, and they make mistakes and have, all these strategies from A to Z. Let's go G strategy. Let's go H strategy. Let's try that. Leclerc's like, you're ruining my race with the Z strategy, all types of shit. Galactica says Danny is a bot. Yuki and Perez, no notice for, on notice for 2024. Unfortunately, that ain't really too far-fetched right there, Galactus, for real. It's not too far-fetched, man, that Perez and Yuki. But you know what? I do think that but wait a minute. I'm going to still say that Yuki might be okay. Perez, I'm going to say maybe Yuki may not be okay. Perez may be a bit more okay in 2024, but Yuki might be more at risk given what Liam Lawson did. Do they say, if let's just look at this. I don't even know how and if this might happen, but let's say they say we're going to let Perez run 2024. Are they going to dog him and shit him out? Danny Rick goes up there. Well, then you still keep Yuki and bring in Liam. So Yuki might be privileged to circumstances. He might actually still be there 2024, confident in a seat, because if Red Bull do what a lot of us think they're trying to do, which is make a very strong case to shitbox Perez, bring in Danny Rick, and Danny Rick doing this, if he does this through the rest of the season, I'm definitely going to say there's going to be some waves in the water and what's going to happen there. But if Danny Rick kind of falls off and this is just like a 2-race thing, then maybe not so much. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how they carry on with themselves. All right, the clock has reset. 8 minutes is on the clock. Wind is 8.6 kilometers an hour due northeast. 52.3 degrees. Track temp 25.3 degrees. Air temp and 43% in humidity. I think we are free and clear of concerns of rain, water dropping on the track and ruining our third session of this qualifying sprint event like we had yesterday for the qualifying GP for Sunday event. So we should get a full 3 sessions here, aside from the 33 seconds that we were missing due to the red flag, the Ocon, and a collision with Alonso. It looks like we may be good. Pit exit is now open. Green light is now lit. The track is clear. The clock has started running. Teams, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. Here we go. 8 more minutes till breakfast. And then I'm going to keep working on this car build because there's a lot to be done. So, yeah. Well, I will try to chill a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit before sprint. Before I get to see something crazy. Everybody is on the mediums. So who's going to go out first? Who's going to get out there first? It looks like McLaren might actually get out there first. We're going to see if they're going to hit the track first. See if they're going to go ahead and beat everybody out the box and get to the end of that exit so they can go ahead and hit the track first. And if they do, they probably should have a little bit less traffic as they come back around, depending on other teams. But hopefully they get out there first and lay a hot lap. Now, you do know, like any other time, and I say it because I got to keep it real, Max Verstappen in any third session of a qualifying session, whether it be a sprint or a GP race, typically will lay a hot lap and shoot to the top of the chart. So that's just going to be typical shit that goes on. They're sure letting this time fall off. I'll tell you that. Damn near 2 minutes gone and ain't nobody hit the track yet. This clock running. Who going out? Damn. Get some action going. It's time for some action. Cypress Hill. Can't forget about them boys. Classic. Cypress Hill classic. Insane in the membrane. If you don't know it, find out about it. I mean, this is 3 minutes is about to be run off this clock. Like 3 minutes is about to be going off this clock and nobody's doing the damn thing yet. Yeah, we got green. Like it's time to go. Lewis Hamilton don't even have his gloves on. So, I mean, okay. Well, he's getting some air in there, getting cooled off in that cockpit. Not even any tires on the Ferrari. Drums exposed. Okay, so I don't have any notice saying that they're held up. So this is, I don't know what the hell is this, a chicken in the pit lane game? Or are they playing a game of chicken to see who's going to go out first? Or are they all just going to try to hit the track at the last very minute and make something happen and be done with it? Max Verstappen still sitting with the computer screens in front of him and a Red Bull big ass can on his side pod area with some nice air collected in there, cooling off a bit. Same thing with McLaren, except they have tires on Lando's car. So waiting for him to kick out of there. When Lewis takes World Driving Championship P2, Red Bull to freak out. Yeah, they probably will, because if Mercedes can manage to do that And I understand the performance of Perez and whatever, but if they can manage to do that, it does show that they're not giving up and they're coming 4-4-2. So right now, 4 minutes, we're about to be halfway through SQ3 and no cars are leaving. Everybody is in the pits. Everybody's in the pit. Not one car has taken out yet. Just everybody is just chilling. It's just like they going for, what are they going to do, a one-shot quali style? Is that what we got going on? Like, I want to see that. One-shot quali style, I'm down with that type of shit. I'm with the smoke. I'm with the smoke. If they with the smoke, I'm with the smoke. They with the smoke, I'm with the smoke. I'm cool with that smoke. If that's what they want to do, I'm cool with the smoke. Let's just get it on and see what's going to pop. But I'm cool with it if that's what they want to do. We are now down to 3 minutes and 40 seconds of an 8-minute session in SQ3. Everybody is still in the pits. We do have some speed dialed up. They are starting to go out. Ferrari is going out. Red Bull, everybody is starting to roll out now as we come down to what will be 2 minutes as we see cars start getting out on the track. McLaren are the first out. As I did predict, they are the first out. McLaren first out. There is Ferrari following behind. Yuki, everybody's rolling out. Okay, let's see what kind of party this brings. I'm game for this shit. Let's get excited. Let's make it interesting. Hell yeah, one shot quality. I'm with the shit. Let's go. Old time rules are upon us, which that's how we do it at Wolfpack Every Grudge Racing. We do a one shot quality style too. So I'm with it. Let's hey, yeah, don't who is that? Max Verstappen again, riding alongside somebody and passing again in the pit lane. What the? This dude is all over the white line again. Yo, this shit right here has got to stop. This shit has got to stop. Max Verstappen passing at pit lane again, crossing the white line, jumping 2 cars. This shit's got to stop. Somebody's got to take note. Like, there needs to be, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing this shit. Unless he got privilege, the instructions to do so, this is ridiculous. All right, here we go. Here we go. And we're off. 2 minutes left on this clock. Let's see who is going to do what for whom. Right now, as it sits, Norris is going to be the first one to finish up a lap. I mean, this shit here that Max Verstappen is doing. Like, what is this? This is asshole shit he's doing. Like, bro, you're in line. You could have left out earlier if that's what you wanted to do. He's passing 1, 2, getting ready to pass an AlphaTauri, 3 cars, 4 cars, getting ready to pass a Ferrari. No, that right there should be a penalty. If I don't see the stewards bring this shit up for an investigation, that should be a penalty. Like, bro, you're passing 4 or 5 cars in tight confined area to get on track over the white line. This is getting to the point it's getting stupid. It's getting stupid. 1 minute, 13 seconds. Let's see what's going to happen. So right now, Lando sitting at the top. I hope that he can't even get enough heat in his tires. Perez in number 2, Max Verstappen 3. Paul says, is that even legal to pass in pit lane? Bro, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's legal without some type of instruction that a car is like broke down or impeding, like for that to even happen. And he passed 4 cars. This is not his first time doing it. Like, that's getting crazy to the point he thinks Pia, my rookie, that's my dog, to the top of the charts. Norris switching it up, saying, I can do it too, Pia. Anything you can do, I can do better. That's what Norris just said. Verstappen, only 2. So he did not do a better time than Lando. Like, what is that? 600ths off of that time. Max passed 4 cars in pit lane. What the fuck? FIA, DQ Max. I'm trying to tell you, like, I haven't even seen them observe it. Like, I haven't even seen them note it on the list. Right here, 8 seconds left. Sonono into number 3. Where's Danny Rick? Where is Danny Rick? Lewis Hamilton and Russell about to finish their pass. Checkered flag drops. Danny Rick up to 5th. Yuki is in 3rd. Perez pops up to 3rd, pushing Yuki to 4th. Lewis Hamilton and Russell Sainz still have to finish their laps. Where will they go? First car to checker flag is car 3, Danny Rick. Where is Lewis Hamilton and Russell going to end up? Lewis Hamilton to 4th spot. Where will Russell end up? Looking like he could possibly have maybe a little bit there in that 2nd sector. What will he do with his 3rd? And where will he end up with that 3rd? Lando right now in the top spot. Let's see where Russell ends up. Russell in the 4th spot, pushing Hamilton to 5th. There we go, ladies and gents. That is your qualifying order for the later today sprint race. Lewis Hamilton just behind Perez. What will he be able to do off of the start? Are they going to really push? Are they going to be a little reserved and just kind of manage these points? We will see what happens. But there you are, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen 2nd, Russell in 4th, Perez in 3rd, Hamilton in 5th, Yuki doing very well to outperform Danny Rick in 6th. But it is something nice to see the AlphaTauri cars up there in the top 10. We're going to see what kind of points they collect. Pia falling to the 10th spot just by the hair of his chin right there. So there it is. That's what we got going. We will see what's going to be popping. We will be watching the sprint race. At least I will be watching. I'm not trying to tell you. I'm not trying to be the boss of you and tell you what to do. I'm going to watch the sprint race. Maybe you watch the sprint race too. And then, you know, maybe we see what happens. But I didn't notice that they had anything noting what Max Verstappen did. This right here is getting ridiculously dumb. Like, it's getting ridiculously dumb. I'm going to be looking on the official FIA documents to see if they're going to note that, because they definitely should note that. And it shouldn't be a warning. It shouldn't be a reprimand. He did this before and was already warned about it in another event, both he and Russell. This already happened several times. This should be a penalty, like straight up. Should be a grid place penalty. And because they compartmentalize the sprint into itself, it won't cross over into the race. It will probably likely be a penalty, which it won't be a penalty because they haven't been penalizing Max in the sprint race. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll see what happens. But there we go. Lando Norris right there. Maybe he gets a sprint win. Oscar already has one. Maybe it's Lando's time. But we already know Lando is a doorman for Max. So he's going to say, come on, Maxie, go ahead and pass me, bud. We got matching necklaces. You can have the number 1 spot. I'll just fight hard for number 2, especially if it's Lewis Hamilton. Paul says, peace and love, fam. Chat with y'all during the sprint. Let's go, Lewis Hamilton. Make sure to smash the like button on your way out. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. Sister channel, give us a like. You stayed here with us. Reese R33Z33 says, hey, yo, what's good, babe? That's what I'm talking about. What's going on, man? BB, what's up? Reese, man, I see you over there, bro. So we getting it in. We'll see what happens. I'm going to watch the sprint race and get ready to make me up something. What time the sprint race come on? I think is it 1400 Eastern Standard Time? So we're going to be looking at that. I'm going to get into my DM with Sylvia Wick Kelly, sent me some information. I know that Blue Diva probably, she sends me information like daily. So I'm going to get in there, see if I can put some things together. Maybe we go live again to talk about some things, because this shit needs to be addressed. It's getting out. It's been out of hand. It's been out of hand. It ain't getting out of hand. It's been out of hand, and it needs to be handled. I'm telling you right now, it needs to be handled. I'm quite frankly tired of seeing it, just letting it slide. They just keep letting shit slide. So 15 months tomorrow to R33Z33, 1730 GMT time. I will see you all soon. That is another qualifying session here with the fam, Wolfpack Performance and Jay. Let's see what goes on. Peace and love to you all. And oh, told you, Blue Diva said I've sent it. Thank you very much, Blue. Appreciate you much. Peace and love. I know you always on top of it. You, Sylvia Wick, Will, Mary Beanie, Galacticus, y'all shit hot. Peace and love. I'm out. Peace.